Okay, we start at the bear. There you go. Okay, hello again there, friends and neighbors. Mike Froh for the Saline County Libertarian Party. Hey, we're back here in the studio, folks. You know, that was a one-time thing. It was crazy that time. Hey, school has started, and you can see that the school buildings look a little different. There you go. This is the way that South High is going to look when it gets all done. And here on this next slide, you're going to see what Salina Central looks like on the Front Street side. That's going to be the new science wing. They're getting that hammered out. Hey folks, it's your tax dollars at work. You asked for it, you got it, new schools. Or in our case, it's just a refurbish of the old. Well, here's another case of a young woman being videotaped in the dressing room in a state of undress. Let's just keep this picture up for a few seconds here. This is the guy down in Texas that did it at a Target. You know, folks, this is why we cannot open up the bathrooms and the dressing areas. People are saying, oh, well, the LGBT, they need to feel secure. Well, little girls need to be secure also, okay? What about the rights of the little girl in this case, okay? Well, obviously the NBA at least seems to side more with the people taking the pictures because they pulled the All-Star game out of Charlotte, North Carolina because of the bathroom policies there. Question to the NBA. Okay, are you in favor of little girls being videotaped in a state of undress? You know, you've got to think of these things. Now, I don't think that the NBA as an organization would say yes to my question. You know, I just don't think that they are in favor of the perverts. But they never get past the headlines, folks. They never get past the headlines. It's like there's still NBA players who say that, oh, hands up, don't shoot in Ferguson, Missouri. That was a lie there, you know. He never said that. He never said that. Another sign of the times are our police officers being targeted and killed. Now, we cannot really blame the police because there are domestic terrorists here. How do we change this? Enter mommy.
Was the one moment from the chaos in Baltimore that had people cheering for more.
Mother of the Year.
I leaped out of my chair and said, yes!
I was captivated.
Captivated by a Baltimore mother reading the riot act to her 16-year-old son. To remove him from the riot, we now know her name is Toya Graham, and she's a single mom of 5 girls and a boy. Here's what she told CBS News about her brand of tough love.
That's my only son, and at the end of the day, I don't want him to be a Freddie Gray.
The Baltimore man whose death in police custody sparked protests, her tough discipline won muttered admiration and outright applause.
Of a mother desperately trying to keep her son from joining the rioters. And you know, she saw. Yeah!
She quickly started to trend on Twitter, Hashtag Baltimore mom. She went to pick up her son at the mall because she heard trouble was brewing there.
He said, Mom, when I seen you, my instinct was to run. You know, I'm a no-tolerant mother. He knew he was in trouble.
The video was shared and analyzed from the right.
Like, look, right there is the moment that I think just gripped my heart.
And the left.
Here's a kid that'll take a brick and throw at a cop, but ducks when his mother comes and slap him.
Is he the perfect boy? No, he's not. But he's mine.
Send in the moms, read one headline. Maybe you really are the mother of all moms when you can inspire this kind of look in your tough guy son. Jeannie Mo, CNN, New York.
Okay. Way to go, Mama. If we had more mothers like her, and this is my mother of the decade, right here. She says, well, everybody else might say, well, there's 300 boys out there. Well, this is my only son, and he will not be doing this. If we had more mothers like her, we'd have less rioting, folks. We'd have less rioting. But this impacts us law-abiding citizens. Okay? Now, if I get stopped at a traffic stop, I can't look over at the officer and say, hey, officer, how's your day been going? You know, it's kind of hot, isn't it? You can't do that anymore because they get out of the car, and you notice here even the picture. There's one officer up dealing with the driver. What's the other officer doing? Other officer is standing behind the car watching everything that's coming down. That officer comes up behind you, behind the left ear. And please, I know why. I don't need any lectures about the why. Okay? I know why. This is just the reality of those situations. They come up behind the left ear and they're a voice. They are a voice to you. Hey, if my right leg scratches, or itches rather, and I reach down to scratch it, am I going to get shot? Well, I'd like to think not. But we have to understand here. Now, hey, if you're going to start saying, oh, Mike Troll is a police hater, no, I'm not. I'm looking at things honestly here, okay? Because those officers have families that they want to go home to. Well, so do I, okay? So do I. So if I run a stop sign and an officer comes up and stops me, you know, okay, here's my hands, you know, I got this horrible itch, but I'm not going to scratch it because I've got 6 grandchildren that I want to go home to, okay? Oh, I had another one since the last time we talked. That's why there's 6. Cute little girl, okay? So, I'm not against the police. I just think that we should be able to understand their role in society without resorting to violence, without resorting to hatred. They're there for a very real reason, and we need them, okay? So I'm not against the police. I just don't care for what the terrorists are doing to our relationships. That's all. You know, I know a lot of police officers. They're great people, folks. Okay, but you have to understand this. Okay, next topic. Reasons for not voting Libertarian. Boy, you know, this really gets me. First of all, bullying. If you don't vote for candidate A, then you want candidate B to win. What are you? Good grief, folks. Really, if your candidate is so flippin' great, then why do you have to resort to bullying? Why can't you come up and go, Mike, my candidate believes this, has this track record, going to do this? And I'm like, no, you're right. Very good. But when you come up to me and you go, well, yeah, you want this candidate to win because you're not going to, folks, you know, I'll just smile and walk away. You know, your attempt to influence me, burning on the ground, baby. You know, and I could not care less. Okay? I'm walking away saying to myself, Gary Johnson's going to be a great president. You lose. The second one is making excuses. I love this. I do love this. The excuse creator. Let's just look at this for a second here. Okay, first of all, choose a lead-in. I'm sorry, but. Okay, your mom, you know, gave me a hickey. Okay, you know, we're just making things up here. My co-teacher has a great saying. He's a coach, but I love this. He says, excuses we got, results we need. I love that. I love that. Anyway, making excuses. Well, I'd love to vote for a libertarian, but you know, they never win. Really, really. Look, folks, if you don't want to vote for a libertarian, don't. If you want to vote for Donald Trump, vote for Donald Trump. If you want to vote for Hillary Clinton, vote for Hillary Clinton. Don't come up to me and say, well, I'd love to vote for Gary Johnson, but you know, he just will not win. Well, you know, folks, again, you've heard me say this before, but if everybody who said that would actually vote for a libertarian, we had numerous libertarians in office. So if you want to make an excuse, you know, be honest. No, I'm going to vote for Trump or Clinton because I think they can win. And winning is more important to me than anything else. Be on the winning side, you know. At least that way I'll still respect you in the morning with your honesty. Okay, primary elections. I love this picture of Tim Huelskamp. Remember, Huelskamp blamed everybody. It was Washington. It was the newspapers. It was this. It was that. It was all over. Basically, dude, you got your butt kicked, okay? Clean and simple, you got your butt kicked. It happens to us all. Why don't you just stand up and say, hey, I got beat, congratulations, you know, let's move forward. But no, he didn't do that. But the primary election showed us a lot of surprises. It wasn't just Huelskamp. You know, state Senate leadership took a real hit. And I'm not talking about just people that have been in the Senate for 12 and 16 years. I'm talking about, you know, the co-chair, the vice president, whatever it's called of the Senate. On down, the leadership took a real hit. Our state senator here in Salina went down, okay? But it really seemed like that what got beat was an attitude. And you'd heard that attitude out of Topeka quite a bit in the past few years. Well, I know I don't have to go talk to those people. You know, I know what to do. Okay, I'm intelligent. I don't have to go talk to this group or that group. Okay. So that's what really got him going. So now, to me, it's going to be really interesting because, hey, the problems are the same. And if you think that the problem in the U.S. House was Tim Huelskamp, you're wrong, okay? Tim Huelskamp was not the problem. He may have been a symptom, but he wasn't the problem. Tom Arpke may have been part of the symptom, you'd look at it, But Tom Arpke was not the problem, okay? So we still have those problems in place, and now we're going to have a new group of people that come in and are going to have to deal with it, okay? In the state Senate, either Randall Hardy or Don Merriman are going to have to deal with the budget of Kansas, which is in a mess. And we'll talk about that later. I've got something that is a surefire cure that'll take care of it. But anyway, right, so now we're going to have these new people coming in to take care of these problems. And what's the greatest problem that we have? Not enough bloody money. Okay? And how are we going to increase the money in this state without increasing taxes like crazy? Okay? Brownback has been raiding the transportation fund. He has been raiding capers to keep the state afloat. Now, why has he been raiding them? Well, transportation and capers are pots of money that just sit there, okay? But we have to have money in capers. Why do we have to have money in capers? Well, folks, you know, capers, capers, I need my capers. How am I to pay my bills? The school is beginning to see me as an ill. Capers, capers. I need my capers to retire. Okay, that's a little bit of fun there, folks. But that is something. Capers, the Kansas Public Employees Retirement Fund, and it's promised, supposed to be sitting there waiting. Most teachers now are taking it as a lump sum when they retire. Okay, main way to help the state budget. And that is what we're all about. We don't just sit here and scream at the darkness. We go flip on a light, okay? Well, this is what we're going to do. Now, what's the main way to help the state budget? Well, that's by increasing state revenue. Well, how do you do that? Well, the easy way, and you've heard a lot of people say about it, is to increase the tax revenue by increasing taxes on the people that live in Kansas. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Well, now wait a minute. Wait a minute. It may not just be that simple. Okay? People do not appreciate their taxes going up. It reminds me of some friends of mine who sit around and they complain about, wow, we don't have enough money going in taxes. And I go, hey, you know, your tax bill is a minimum. You can always write a bigger check. Oh, no. We need to go out and make sure that the wealthy pays more. See? So they don't want to write a bigger check, you know. So they, of course, they decline. They always want someone else's taxes to go up. Well, now, wait a minute, folks. Everybody does need to pay something. These people who formed the LLCs after DeGov's experiment came into being need to be included in the tax load. Many of them make a whole lot of money. Okay? Everybody needs to pay something, but they need to be brought into the tax load. People don't trust Brownback, so his cutting taxes didn't work. And as we have already discussed, In economics, trust is everything. So just cutting taxes isn't going to do it. Just increasing taxes won't do it either. So what can be done? Okay. How about increasing the tax base by growing the number of businesses in Kansas paying taxes? Okay? Let's go recruit some businesses. Let's grow businesses. As this says here, the best way to predict the future is to create it. It's our future, folks. Why don't we go create the sucker instead of sitting back and waiting for somebody else to tell us? Oh, well, no, you can't do that. Bull, stand aside and watch me. Okay? You know, there's an old saying, okay? Many hands make for light work. Okay? So the more businesses we have in Kansas, the better it'll be. So now ask yourself, what businesses work in Kansas? Well, something ag-related, I'm sure. How about industrial hemp? Industrial hemp, you go, oh no, his cousin is marijuana. Oh no, everybody's going to be smoking it. No. Those of you who think that, first of all, look at the picture. Looks nothing like marijuana. Okay? Secondly, I want you to go down here to a store and get some real rope, not this plastic stuff, but some real rope, which is called hemp, by the way. And I want you to take it home, I want you to light it up, and I want you to smoke it. Because it's the same thing. It's the very same thing, okay? There are a million uses for this plant. Henry Ford made a car that was said to be 8 times stronger than steel. There's a debate about that. But still, he made a car out of industrial hemp. You can use it for all kinds of other things. Paper. It does have some medicinal purposes to it. Not anything like marijuana. This is called industrial hemp because you can make things out of it. Okay? You can make fuel out of it. It grows perfectly in Kansas. It's well suited to Kansas. Okay? That's just an idea. And remember, before you yell and scream at me about my ideas, make sure you have an idea. Okay? What other businesses would work? More windmills? Well, yeah, that would help, but windmills really do not create a lot of money. They really don't. They don't have a lot of jobs. One person can go out and take care of a few dozen windmills, so it doesn't create create a lot. So we need something else besides the windmills because they're not big tax creators. So let me ask you this, folks. Let me ask you this. Whatever happened to the energy plant in Holcomb? Well, I think it probably died in government bureaucracy, and they wound up building it a few miles over in Colorado is what they wound up doing. That would have created jobs, expanded the tax base. People would have had great jobs, high-paying jobs. But people become terrified at the thought of coal-fired plants. Okay? As long as it stays within the output regulations, why not? You know, why don't we have a dozen or so of them here in Kansas, creating energy, shipping it out of state, every watt taxed? Okay, there we go. That would bring it in. Now, for you Sierra Club members sitting out there that have been hyperventilating ever since I mentioned this, okay, take a breath, okay? Remember, I said within the output regs. If they go over, you pull their license, you shut them down. Costs $2 billion to make it. You think that the owners are going to let you shut it down? No, they'll keep it within the output regs. There you go, folks. Okay. We should be thinking more about what businesses work in Kansas. Let me mention here that businesses think that the only way that they can build is by the government giving them money. Okay, now, that money comes from the very people that those business owners want to employ. So look at it like this. You walk in to a business. I'll give you $500 if you hire me. That's basically what it is, folks. Okay? We give the businesses money, and then they come and build. Okay? Look right here in Salina, folks. Part of the tax thing that was passed last spring, part of that is money. I call it a slush fund because that's basically what it is. Hey, we'll give you X amount if you come build here in Salina. We're bribing them is what they are, you know. So let's keep that in mind. But anyway, whatever happened to a business owner using their own money? You know, you've got venture capitalists out there that'll work with you and all that, but no, they want to go to the government. They always need spatials from the government because they don't want to risk their own money, you know. Okay, now, here comes the hard way. Are you ready? Okay. What do we expect the state government to do? Think about that for a second. Just let it go. When all else is stripped away, we expect the government to protect us. We expect the government to build infrastructure. Okay, well, what does that mean? It means police, fire, ambulance, turn on the water tap, water comes. It's cold out, so you turn on the heater. Here comes the gas for your heat. You know, and that's what we really need the government to do, right? Still with me? Okay. So keep that in mind as I give one surefire manner without raising taxes that we could be just fine tax-wise here in Kansas. Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready? Okay. Well, here it is, folks. Privatize schools. Okay? Think about it. Don't yell at me. Don't say I'm a stupid idiot. Even though there may be proof that I am. Okay? But think about it here for a second. How much of the state budget is schools? Including colleges? About 2/3. Okay? If we were to privatize all schools, think about it. Would we still have quality schools? Well, proof is in the pudding. A lot of private schools, a lot of the top schools are private schools. Think about that. So it is possible for us to have a quality education and the state not be financially involved. It's possible. It has happened. Okay? Private schools regularly beat public schools in the quality of the education. Look at the statistics. Okay? Public schools are trying to incorporate what private schools have always done. Parent participation, industrial education are two things that are highly prized by public schools that have already been getting done in the private schools. Okay? It is more than just quality education we are talking about. We are discussing maintaining quality while improving our tax situation. And again, let me just point out here that we have to understand where we are as a state, what the situation of our finances here. Businesses are moving east and they're moving out of the state. Okay? Well, now we can go and we can bring them back in, and I'll get to that, but we have to also look at where we are right now. And what do we have to do right now? Okay? The money that was being used for schools can now be used for the elderly. Paving highways. Okay? Not increasing our taxes. Okay? Paying the highway patrol and other public agencies, paving roads, and just generally providing the services we have to have. Well, if not, if you want to go the other way, if you want to make everything public, we can always follow the example of our friend in South America. And I wrote a poem commemorating their efforts in Venezuela. Venezuela, once an economic powerhouse, ruled by the evil capitalists. We had money galore from pumping oil wells. But now gone are those days with stores aplenty, stocked with goods on the shelves full. We had a choice in what we bought, but that only gave us heads a-splitting. So who needs choice? Let the government decide for you. Need to stop for a can of soup? I have no place to be, so I can stand in line from 8 to 3 to get the soup for my evening meal. It's on the day of the monthly shipment. They should have snacks for us as we wait with zeal. Outside the government store, who needs those public stores with the plenty? They should be shut down. Oh, yes, life is so much better without the headaches of the private stores. Give me the government stores without choices and empty shelves. All that extra production is just wasted energy. I get so much without the effort. I don't mind the energy blackouts. And the black market, that's just those evil capitalists trying to take advantage of things. Think, charging $150 for a dozen eggs. They should be arrested. I can even get used to the bartering system. No, I don't have a chicken today for my baby's diapers, but may I interest you in the rhinoceros? That should be good for a lot of diapers. But one thing that burns me the most, upsets me to the end, and after everything I've put up with for the cause, this is too much. They are coming to get me, for they have told me I have to go to work. Oh, the ignominy of it. One last thing before we move on. I'm in receipt today of this right here. It is entitled Venezuelans Flood Brazil Border in 36-Hour Grocery Run. Brings a whole new meaning to a weekend trip, folks. You get on the bus, go down to Brazil, and you get some food for the next week. You know, you can't even take a vacation down there. Anyway, one last thing in today's newspaper. We're taping this on August the 10th. There's an article about the county commission, and the headline reads, "What's the logic of tax decrease?" OMG, folks. You know, this is the way taxes have been getting argued for the last 20 years. Okay? If you read the article, they're not cutting taxes. Taxes are still going up. But do you want it by 1.3% or do you want it by 0.3%? That's the argument. Taxes are still going up. This is what the Clintons brought out, you know. Oh, you know, we're going to raise taxes by 4%. Old people are going to die. You know, all they're going to be able to afford is dog food. No, taxes are still going up, folks. So, you know, I saw that headline and I'm just like, oh my God. You know, like I said, you'll find out that taxes are still going up. The question is just how much. And so people are saying, oh, well, if you don't do this, then everything's going to be horrible. Oh, geez, you know, that's just it. Taxes are going up. Okay. Anyway, don't forget Mocha's. First Saturday of the month, 10 a.m. And, you know, look, folks, here are 3 libertarians that's going to be on your ballot in November. And I left one off there. He's going to be for the U.S. Senate. So you're going to have 4 libertarians to vote for. Of course, Kerry Burt, that's for the U.S. House, number 1. He's one of 3 people. They have the Republican candidate, have an independent candidate, and then they have Kerry there. So it's going to be it's going to be interesting how that turns out. Frazier for State House. That's Joey Frazier, is here in 71st District. You can go and see him around. I'll have his video on my show here as soon as I can. Great young man. The little boy that you're going to see on here shouting, "Vote for Joey Frazier," that's one of Joey's sons. So he's a cute little kid. And then, of course, you know Gary Johnson down there, who it looks like right now is going to be able to get onto the stage with Clinton and Trump. And you know, folks, they don't want Gary on there. You know, he's going to bring a whole new way of seeing things. So things are great. Don't be like those people who say, well, I'm not going to vote for a libertarian because. Check it out, okay? Do a candidate diary, find out how they stand. I got no doubt where you'll come, okay? Pardon for my cough, folks. Okay, well, that's the way it is, folks. On Wednesday, August the 10th, You ask why I always do that? That's my homage to the most trusted man in the world, Walter Cronkite. And anyway, that's the way it is. On Wednesday, August the 10th, 2016, for the Saline County Libertarian Party, this is Mike Troe. May God bless.
So the first presidential debate is September 26th, the same day I plan to get my back waxed, which should be just as entertaining. The only thing that would make it better, a third contestant, which could happen. In my perfect world, that third candidate would be a robot or a giant lizard or a robot giant lizard. But instead, I'll have to make do with Gary Johnson. The debate commission is reportedly drawing up plans for a 3-person debate. Kinky. As Johnson rises in the polls. The former New Mexico governor is up around 8%, but needs to get to 15% to be eligible. So doing the math seems boring. Joining us now, Libertarian presidential nominee, Governor Gary Johnson. Governor, always a pleasure. Yeah. So honestly, you're a very honest person. What are your chances of getting up there behind a podium?
Better than 50%.
Mm-hmm. That's good. So that's that's about half.
Good math, Greg. I'm glad to see that you still got it all together.
I do, yes. It's amazing what pharmaceuticals, legal ones, can do, Governor. I want to ask, everybody always, asks you, what's the first thing you would do as president? I want to ask you, what's the third thing?
Boy, this is just as irrelevant as it always has been. I've missed this. I've really missed this. Man, this is really great. Thanks, man.
What do you want to do if you were president?
What do I want to do?
Yes.
Well, I want to reduce the size of government. I believe that less money out of my pocket is a good thing, and then stand up for civil liberties. So included in those civil liberties, of course, legalizing marijuana, marriage equality, women's right to choose, and then let's stop with the military interventions, with regime change that has resulted in a less safe world. How's that for starters? Let's bring the world together with free markets.
You know what? I like you because you're for free markets and free minds, and I think you're like a sleeper candidate. You're a two-term governor, but you're also kind of goofy, right?
Sleeper candidate. Sleeper candidate. What's goofy? What's goofy, man?
No, because you. You are the next president. The next president. But the thing is, the reason why I bring that up is on the 5. We were constantly talking about Trump and Hillary and how flawed they are. And Geraldo says, well, Gary Johnson, he's kind of weird. I'm going like, what's wrong with weird? When you're looking at the other candidates, you were a successful 2-term governor. You cut spending. You left a budget surplus. You won Republican in a state that was 2-to-1 Democrat. What's weird about that?
Well, weird is having Bill Weld as my running mate, a 2-term Republican governor in the state of Massachusetts, 4-to-1 Democrat.
Yeah.
We didn't raise taxes a penny. Man, this is really getting weird.
Yes.
Standing up for civil liberties. Do you remember Bill Weld was denied the nomination to be ambassador to Mexico by Jesse Helms because in 1997, Jesse Helms said, this is a guy who's pro-choice, who's pro-gay rights, and who's pro-medical marijuana? Yeah, boy, this is one weird ticket.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting. It's a balance because you're small government, he's big government. Now, a lot of people have an issue about marijuana and the fact that you are involved in the marijuana industry. I'm pro-legalization of just about everything, except children. I think children should be banned. But I want to ask you, my issue with pot is that I feel that it should be seen as a reward, like a martini, like you should work first and then smoke. My problem is that too many young people they get a bong and they end up on the couch and their ambition is gone. I don't think you can legislate that, but does that ever occur to you that that could be a consequence?
Oh my gosh, Greg. Man, well, the scenario you're pointing out is not criminal. That somebody wants to take the edge off the day by smoking pot or indulging in marijuana product just like others do drinks. I mean, come on, as long as you're not doing any harm to anybody else. As the libertarian nominee for president, as your next president, I'm going to always come down on the side of choice. Look, people ought to be able to make choices in their lives as long as those choices don't adversely affect others.
I agree with you completely. Very sensible. I think that everybody has the right to their own oblivion. Correct?
I think so, but back to oblivion, as long as you're not doing any harm to anybody else.
Well, then what's the fun in that? I want right to oblivion while harming others. Anyway, Governor, thanks for putting up with me.
Oh, thank you. I can't believe you haven't had me on, but I've missed you. I've missed you.
I've missed you too. Well, maybe later. All right. Thank you, Governor. Up next, why is one college offering students helping to become adults? I don't know. I'm not allowed on college campuses since the incident.
Hi there. My name is Kerry Burt, and I am your Libertarian candidate for Congress in the 1st Congressional District, Kansas. And I'd like to take just a second to introduce myself. The first thing you should know about me is that I am not a politician. I have never held political office, I have never pursued political office, and I have no particular desire to hold political office. I'm an aircraft mechanic, and I'm perfectly happy doing just that. But people ask me on occasion, Kerry, why do you want to run for Congress? It's clear you have no interest in the job, and you have absolutely no experience. And they're right, especially on that last part. I don't have any experience. I don't have any experience sending people to die in wars that nobody understands. Have any experience taxing people into oblivion or regulating industries into obsolescence. Don't have any experience telling people who they should love or what they should put in their bodies. I really don't have much in the way of experience, but maybe that's okay. After all, look where experience has gotten us so far. What I do have is an alternate idea of how government ought to run. See, I think this country was founded under the idea that the individual is king. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is yourself. Government has a different idea, though. See, government has the idea that the only thing standing between you and your dreams is more government. And it sees itself more as a gateway than an impediment. One more law, one more regulation, one more subsidy, one more tax. Any of these things could be the final step necessary to propel you into a glorious future. But it never seems to work out quite that way, does it? We have civil unrest in the streets here at home. We're embroiled in conflicts around the globe. Washington is utter chaos, and the national debt has reached catastrophic levels. It's time for a different approach. The answer is less government, not more. It's time for government to stop micromanaging our lives. It's time for government to stop trying to make us better people through regulation. It's time for government to step back so that Americans can step forward. That's the reason I want to go to Congress. I want to go to Washington to fight for our rights to just exist, to be ourselves without interference from government, to be able to marry who we want, to be able to put in our bodies what we want, to be able to possess what we want, to be able to run our businesses the way we want. All of these simple things are things the government thinks that we need help with. And it's time to show them that that's not the case. It's time for us to remind them that it is the people of America who built this country, not the government. If that idea excites you, if you like the idea of more freedom and less government, of more liberty, then come check us out at our Facebook page. It's KB4HR. That's KB, the number 4HR. We're just getting started. There's not a lot of content, but we're adding more regularly. And we'd love for you to come be a part of what's going on here. And we'd love for you to show up and cast your vote for us in November. A vote for us will be a vote against government expansion. It'll be a vote in favor of the expansion of the rights of people and a vote in favor of moving into a future with more freedom and more liberty. Thanks.